Hey everybody, welcome to their GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team Blood Zeal. This is part 3 of my review of this box that was kindly sent by Games Workshop as a complimentary review copy and contains 2 new kill teams. In this one, part 3, we're taking a look at the Goremongers. A new unit type probably also for 40k, but definitely for kill team, of a bunch of cybernetically enhanced, insane Khorne cultists who all think that they are having a dream of becoming a bloodletter and desperately want to. They have a really cool inbuilt sort of like faction core mechanic where they have to keep the blood levels of their little blood engines topped up or their legs stop working, but they can spend the blood on cool power-ups over the course of the game as well. Of course, as Khorne's sacred number is 8, this is an 8-man team, and they are significantly tougher than average humans, but still just kind of a they're My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult sort of spin-off. That was a deep cut. That is more up close and brutal, which of course in Kill Team is way more dangerous than they are shooty. You've got your leader here, and then you've got 6 specialists and an aspirant. The aspirant is the one you can take more than once, and they all have a variety of different functions. So the Blood Herald, he is the closest to becoming a bloodletter, he thinks. He's got his cool chain blade and icon of Khorne. The Blood Taker, which is your like, I'm going to exsanguinate you guy. An Impaler with his crazy harpoon. They've got like real Reaver from Serenity vibes or Firefly vibes. The Inciter with dual auto pistols doesn't have a big melee weapon. Skullclaimer with a giant axe. The Stalker, who's kind of your like parkour assassin. And then the Aspirants, who are your basic guys with the big glaives. Now I assume in 40k, all the specialists don't have a function except probably the Skullclaimer. I'm assuming you're going to have some kind of special axe and maybe the Impaler. So the Aspirant, if you wanted to build this 40k compliant, you just counts as the rest of them probably as being aspirants. But if you play someone who cares that much about what your miniatures run with, just don't play them. Yeah, and that's it. So there is a large faction rule set here for the Runes of Khorne and the Gore Tanks. The Gore Tanks and the Sanguis Vitae are kind of the most fiddly of the options, because for the most part, this is a group that just wants to run up and hit you. And they do mean that you do need your tokens. These are your Gore Tank tokens. You start at this side, which is half full. If you kill someone in melee, they go up or down levels. And if you use a Sanguis Vitae, they go down a level. So think of them kind of like command points for each of the individual models that you're tracking individually. Each one starts with 1. If you kill someone, it goes to full. It never goes higher than full. So you are encouraged to spend them and then kill more people to get them back. Runes of Khorne is the other faction special rule. You can never take more than 8 wounds from a shooting action. And you might have noticed later on, these guys all have 10 wounds. So they are invulnerable to death the first time they get shot, which is kind of handy, but doesn't mean that things like Space Marines can just shoot them and then finish them off. And then the Sanguis Vitae can be spent for a whole bunch of different things. Each activation, you only do each one once. And the Fury and Mania ones can't be used during the same turn. So Rejuvenate is get 2 to 3 wounds back. You can just like spend the blood to get them back. Mania is get +1 APL. Fury is perform 2 fight actions, and the second one is free, so not bonus APL. It's just you have to do 2 actions. That's why you can't effectively have 4 APL. Rake is when this operative finishes moving, it can inflict D3 damage on an operative in its control range, so basically it's like a body slam. Surges, add 1 to your move stat. And rages until the end of the action, add 1 to your attacks out of your melee weapons. So these are like little buy sweeties that you can add to your individual models per activation. And obviously you're going to get back the ability to do more of them the more guys you kill. Strategic ploys, enhanced violence. Whenever your Goremonger's tank is full, you get balanced, and half full, you get relentless. So this one kind of encourages you to just to fill up and then gain your like bonus forever. Augmented endurances, whenever your Gore tanks are half full, you can reroll 1 of your defense dice. Completely full, reroll all your defense dice. Gory tenacity, whenever a friendly Goremonger operative is fighting or retaliating, the first time your opponent strikes during that sequence, have the damage, and then hunt for blood. Select a friendly Goremonger's operative. If it has a conceal order, immediately have perform engage. Then it can immediately perform a free charge action. It can't be more than 3. So it's like a push into combat for the start of your activation. That one would be really handy if you could like spend Fury to make 2 fight actions and then do something else afterwards. And then your firefight ploys, unbridled aggression. When they close the enemy, you fight with all the savage fury and martial prowess of the bloodletters. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly Goremonger's operative is fighting during an activation when it did a charge. At the end of the roll attack dice step until the end of the sequence, you get severe. Gore Thirst, use it when you would counteract. You can do so with one friendly Goremongers operative that has a conceal order, but you must change it to engage, and it can only perform charge, fight, or shoot. So basically freak out when you can counteract. And you're going to lose, guys. Destructive Demise uses Firefight Ploy when you die. Based upon your Gore tank's damage, inflict damage equal to the friendly operative's Gore tank on one friendly operative that's in control range. D3 of empty, D3 plus 1 of half, D3 plus 2 of full, because basically you explode with like demonic blood. And then Lacerate Flesh uses Firefight Ploy when a friendly Goremongers operative with its empty Gore tank is activated or counteracts. Increase that operative's Gore tank. At the end of the activation or counteraction, decrease its Gore tank. You can't use this decrease to use a Sanguinate rule. If you can't decrease its Gore tank, inflict D3 damage. Basically, he uses his own blood for one turn, and if he doesn't get it back by the end of the activation, he takes wounds instead, because it's like, he's overextending. And then your core stats. So you can see the core stats for these guys is a 7-inch move because they have robot legs. 5 plus save, 10 wounds, 2 APL. Your Blood Herald has an extra wound. His Chainblade is, and all these Chainblades are kind of the same. 4 attacks, 3s, 4-5 damage rending. So like Chainglaives and Chainblades are all pretty much the same, unless they have some kind of weirder weapon. And then he has Icon of Khorne, which is a gun. Range 8 Saturate, 4 attacks, 2 plus 4-4. It's kind of a weird flamer. Khorne's favor, once during each of its operations, if its tank is empty, increase its Gore tank. So you want to keep redlined because you can just get it back for free. And then Impending Apotheosis, once per battle, when an attack dice inflicts damage to this operative, ignore the inflicted damage. And that can be critical because you're about to turn into a demon. Your Aspirant is the one you can have an unlimited number of. He's got an auto pistol, so at least he can shoot 8 inches with a 2-3 damage gun. He's got Obsessive Bloodlust. Whenever this operative ends the fight action, if it's no longer within control range of an enemy operative, it can immediately perform a free charge action, but can't move more than 2 inches. And doing so doesn't prevent it from performing a charge, dash, or reposition action afterwards during that same activation. So you kind of have this ability with the Aspirants, and it's cool that you get 2 of them in the core list by taking all the specialists to like charge something, but then push yourself after you've killed it into combat again. And you're pretty dangerous. 4 or 5 damage is no joke with rending, and 3+ attacks. The Blood Taker, he's got his auto pistol on a ritual blade, so 4 attacks, 3+, 3-5 ritual. Whenever this operative is using this weapon, the first time you inflict damage, you can increase your Gore tank. And note this is cumulative with the normal increases for Gore tanks. So you can just go from empty to completely full whenever you do damage. And then for an AP Transfusion Ritual, decrease your Gore tank and increase the Gore tank of another operative within 8 of the operatives. So this guy can power up like the Blood Herald or the Impaler or whoever else you want by using his own blood. And then the Impaler, he's got an auto pistol, but he's also got a Flesh Skewer. It can be used range or melee, and has range 8 stun, drag, and prey. 4 shots, 3+, 4-5 damage. It's a pretty dangerous gun. You can pray whenever this operative is shooting with this weapon in the resolve attack dice step after resolving the drag weapon rule, if you choose to. You can discard any of your successful unblocked attack dice. In other words, you can choose not to inflict damage with any number of them. And then drag, whenever this operative is shooting this weapon at the start of the resolve attack dice step, you can move the target up to X, but X is the total number of unsuccessful blocked attacks multiplied by 2. So those discards basically can be discarded automatically. So let's say you got like 5, or what's the total? 4, all 4 of them hit. You can drag the guy 8 inches towards you. This move must be done in a straight line increments, and the increment is always rounded to the nearest inch. Whenever the target's dropping during the move, ignore the vertical distance. So you can also pull people off ledges. There's how you get that damn Space Marine sniper off of his ledge. Just drag him with this thing. You actually move him 2 inches and he falls off the building. And then the Insiders is your double auto pistol guy, your gunfighter. He's got a dual auto pistols focused or point blank in melee. He's got ceaseless and rending in melee for 3-4 damage. Or 4 attacks, 3+, 2-2, range 8, ceaseless, devastating 1, and rending. So he gets devastating in his shots, which is pretty cool. And he gets dash and spray for an APL. Perform a free dash action and a free shoot action with this operative. You can only take the focused for your actual action. And you can't do it while you're concealed. And then Incite the Hunt, whenever this operative incapacitates an enemy operative more than 2 inches away, before that enemy operative is removed, you can increase the Gore tank of one friendly Goremonger within 8 of this operative. So he does also fill up, because he rages them out, those guys' blood tanks. Whenever this operative inflicts damage on an enemy operative but doesn't incapacitate it, that enemy operative gains a bleeding token. During a friendly Goremonger operative's activation or counteraction, before it has performed its action, if it's within 8 of an operative with a bleeding token, you can remove a token and give its score tank a little boost. So he's cool because like his whole thing is like he's like the harasser. He's the dude who like bloods the animal so the hounds can like scent it basically and like freak out. It's not a standard gunfighter. Like most gunfighters and most kill teams have like a shoot back action or like a quick draw action. His thing just fits like into this pack hunter thing they have going on, which is kind of cool. All right, Skull Claimer with his big great axe. He's got 3+5/6 brutal for his chain glaive. And then Brutish, whenever an attack would inflict critical damage in this operative, you can choose for it to inflict normal damage instead. So it just doesn't take critical damage. And Claim Skull. Once per turning point, when you incapacitate someone, just get a CP. Why not? Then you get your Stalker. He's got climbing picks. Whenever this operative is climbing, treat the vertical distance as 2 inches, regardless of the actual distance. And his pick rippers are 4 attacks, 3+4/5 rending. And then Rooftop Stalker. Whenever this operative is fighting during activation, which it dropped from a vantage point, its melees get relentless. So his whole thing is he's parkouring down on top of you. Then finally, your faction equipment, a Gory Totem. Before the battle, you can set up one of your Gory Totem markers wholly within your territory. So it's this marker, I believe, right here. These are like skulls. More than 2 from the other markers, excluding Bloody Cadaver markers, which are a later thing, which is these guys. Whenever you are shooting, fighting, or retaliating, your opponent cannot reroll their attack dice. I would definitely make miniatures for these as opposed to using these tokens. It's a head on a stick, and then it's like a piece of a body you left behind for the Bloody Cadaver. I like their equipment is just the stuff they've left behind. Bloody Cadavers, before the battle, you can set up one of your Bloody Cadaver markers wholly within your territory and more than 2 from other markers. Operators can perform the pickup marker action on this marker, and you can increase your gore tank. Unless you're already full. And then, so it's like extra gore tanks you're leaving lying around. And then Chaos Sigil, once per turning point, when an operative shooting or fighting a Goremonger operative at the start of your roll of defense dice step, you use this rule. If you do so, worsen the X of the piercing weapon roll by 1, and the piercing one would therefore be ignored. And then Wrist Chains. You know, he's got his Lobo wrist chains. Once per turning point, when a friendly Goremonger operative performs the shoot action and you're selecting a ranged weapon, you can use this rule. If you do so until the end of the action, the following melee weapons are treated as having a 2-inch range. Chain Blades, Chain Rippers, Great Chain Axe, and Pick Rippers. But you ignore the brutal rule for your Great Chain Axe. So, like, that's cool. You can shoot with your melee weapons, basically, by hucking your wrist chains out. So, like, it's the thing where, like, you swing your weapon on a chain instead of holding it in your hand. That is so friggin' cool. I love that. You just get a 2-inch shoot attack with your melee weapon. Very cool. And that's it. So, yeah, that's the Goremongers. They are a live fast, die hard, very cool miniature. They're going to have, like, I expect you're going to see some really cool, like, grim, dark paint jobs on these guys. That's my plan for these guys. I'm going to do them, like, very dirty and gross and blood covered. Yeah, extremely like #28 like gross. And then I want to make miniatures for my cadaver and my my head on a stick tokens. These, I would rate these way easier to play than most, because as long as you're managing the gore tank thing, like they're not for kids obviously, but like they're a really straightforward team. They just want to get, they're super aggro, want to get into melee. They have some cool like stuff for getting people down to them, like the hook shot, and the extending range of their melee weapons and stuff too. And that's it. I just like that I like that everything feeds into the theme with them. They want to be bloodletters. They're turning into bloodletters. But they have a nice bunch of syncing rules that I think are going to work really well. And the models are cool. Weird cybernetic quasi, Skitari Khorne cultists that have been dealing with World Eater butchers. So that's it. That concludes our coverage of the new Blood Zeal box for Kill Team. Still, I think these boxes, these like expansions for Kill Team are the best thing Workshop's making right now. I would rate these for quality of like the narrative, the stuff inside, and the miniatures as high as like a Cursed City or like a Warhammer Quest project. Like they're treating these 40K boxes like they did Warhammer Quest. Like both Blackstone Fortress or Cursed City. Like this is a really high quality of miniature for like painters and collectors. And the theme and the gameplay stuff is really cool too. So I'm super happy with this. I can't wait to see the next one. Thanks for Workshop sending this along. If you guys for watching, thanks, I'm Ash. Have a great day.